Brody Roberts. In winger 10, Riley Richardson.
Good afternoon and welcome to the coverage of Australian Men's Mixed Netball Championships. It is the ultimate match of the championships. It is the Men's Open Division. We have Victoria and New South Wales. What a battle these two have had, not just this year but many years, coming to you live from Nissan Arena. My name's Matthew Blomley, alongside me Heath Brown. What an exciting match we have ahead.
It surely is. I think in many ways, no surprises, these two teams ended up in the grand final, only a handful of goals separating them in the two times they've met. So what a great game we're in for.
Great game ahead, and we're going to try and have plenty of voice, but we're going to throw to some sponsors who we wouldn't be here without.
So when I was growing up, obviously loved footy. All my brothers played footy. I've got 5 brothers. They all played sport growing up, and we had a little club called Kelmscott Junior Football Club. Played down there all through my juniors. I got my sense of belonging, I guess, and made my friendships. I just love those memories of playing there. Got me where I am today, so it's yeah, it's good to look back on that. Yeah, obviously the Fair Play vouchers is a great initiative. It allows any kids to play sport, gives the opportunity for them to go down to their local club, get that sense of belonging. Obviously there's a lot of kids in different circumstances out there in the community, so this gives the opportunity for any kid to go out and play, which is fantastic.
And we are just minutes away from the start of this Men's Open Grand Final. As we said before, Victoria and New South Wales. Whilst we're here, we will go through that starting lineup for each side. In goal shooter, Cameron Allen. Goal attack, Brody Roberts. This for Victoria. Wing attack, Riley Richardson. Centre, Jaden Cowling. In wing defence is Jake Noonan. Alongside him in the circle is goal defence Al Punchin and goalkeeper Josh Byron. On their bench they have Adam Franz, Tom Hardwick, Jake Hedricks, Liam Kiley and Ronan Pring. They are coached by Jared Murphy and the assistant coach is Jade Heinrich. And for New South Wales we have starting goal shooter Anton Stahilski. In goal attack Eugene Lee. Wing attack is Liam Forcadia. In centre is Joe Miller. And rounding out the mid-court is Jack Vanderveld in wing defence. Aussie captain Dylan Nextip is in goal defence and goalkeeper is Victor Nikolic. On the bench for New South Wales, Martin Blundell, Stephen Bryce, Nick Candido, Nathan Gurmak and Callum Price. They are coached by Maura Gaha and assistant coach Sandy Attard. Now Heath, this was a low-scoring occasion in the last match. What are you expecting from this one?
Look, I think one of the things, speaking to a lot of the athletes in the hallways here at Nissan Arena, Victoria just eternally have this confidence in their ability to win, and I think their track record speaks for itself as a state, let alone this team. Obviously have been out of the gold medals for about, I think it's 8 years was the last time they won a gold medal, which is very...
because those COVID years obviously playing a part and missing a couple of championships there.
So I think that, that confidence they've got this year is certainly going to carry them well. I thought at times in the last few games of the rounds and then when they met Victoria, there was the same confidence lacking in New South Wales despite having the ilk of the similar player on the court. So that will be really interesting to start for me. Who comes out here confidently and goes to the post as shooters and attacks ball as defenders?
And that is so crucial in this match, is who's going to go to post. That was something that both teams struggled with, was their transition. The defensive pressure was phenomenal. It is such an exciting match that we have ahead of us.
What clash do you think out there, Matt? Do you like the look of lineup?
I'm really intrigued by this Jaden Cowling, Joe Miller combination. Jaden being relatively new to the centre position and Joe Miller having been that mid-court as well for New South Wales for a couple of years. I think that'll be quite an interesting one to see how their feed goes. Similarly, I'd say Riley Richardson's had a relatively quiet tournament, and if we can get a big game from him in that wing attack position, that's certainly going to start everything off well for the Victorians as that goal goes in. First centre pass and first goal. New South Wales now, we're expecting something similar. For you, Heath, who are you expecting from this New South Wales lineup in particular is going to be crucial? So
the man who has the ball under the post now, Stahilski, I think if he can really set a solid target up back, that'll be crucial. The contest I can't wait to see is Allen versus Nikolic. I think they're both incredibly tough in the air. Looking forward to the contest all game.
And what a battle that shall be. That we've obviously seen Victor Nikolic do quite well against Liam Kiley. Cameron Allen, he just struggles a little bit more with the non-conventional hold and positioning. So a matchup trying to work in Victoria's favour there. And see Nextip just tracking there. Brodie Roberts know each other's game very well. And it's a long one for the first one. No, Brodie Roberts, trademark split right under the post. His first.
It's a good settler for Brodie. I think his contest with Nextip, we can expect to be a very closely marked one.
And you can hear the crowd's already getting up early about both New South Wales and Victoria have a lot of supporters in the crowd. And those 17 unders from Victoria are trying to be as loud as possible, as they often are. Wide ball pulled in, Forcadia, just too much on the turn.
I think there's a lot of gold medals around the neck of that Victorian cohort in the stands.
I dare say some of those guys will be having their post-game shower with those on, and certainly going to the AMMNA Awards night still wearing it. There's a lot of pressure on this open side to really carry on the victorious effort that has occurred. Victoria so far managing to win the 17 under, the 23 and under, and the reserves divisions, and hoping here for a men's open one, but New South Wales, they're going to have a lot to say about that. As there's some beautiful hands over, but Brodie Roberts sinks his second.
What I like about Victoria early on is Brodie Roberts, I thought, was quiet to start some of the quarters last match, and already he seems to be finding space. They tend to be using him on entry to circle. And I think when when Brodie, if I was just calling him Riley, I often get the two confused. When Brodie is processing a lot of ball for Victoria, they are hard to stop.
We saw him in the Kelpies uniform, that beautiful green and gold, how much he can do against literally the world's best defenders. As Victor Nikolic flies a hand at it and is cleaned up by Jack Vanderbilt. That is a great little turnover. Miller almost gets a footwork call there, but does manage to get it moving. Forcadia, nice and patient as he is in wing attack. Eugene Lee will be looking for a refeed from there. He has been hesitant on the early shots in other games. Sahilski not staying too far away from home. Tough ball over Josh Byron. Keeps it in, but it goes straight to Forcadia. Unintentional swing. And that is a lovely sweep from Eugene Lee, mid-range. Sinks that one. Great first shot from him.
When I spoke to Coach Gahar about what's going to change their scoring efficacy for New South Wales, she spoke a lot about if they're on the mid-ranger, they're going to be teeing them up. So I think we spoke in the call last game about a lot of hesitation on a mid-range. Expect that to be not the case today.
And when you've got a Sahilski in there ready to help rebound and reposition, Eugene Lee needs to be putting up that mid-range shot. Answered the two in a row with the VICs, did New South Wales with their own. Backwards centre pass, 3 goals apiece. 10.5 to go in the first quarter. And if you're out of position, just fly yourself at it. Sometimes they'll get a turnover, didn't on that occasion.
Dylan trying to grow a few extra feet there. Very different with a next hip flying at one of those balls compared to a Nikolic.
And just shifting attackers. Miller unable to keep it in sideline there. Roberts just sitting out wide, waiting for Richardson's connection. Very patient. Cowling just getting ridden by Miller beautifully.
Just fast ball movement from Victoria.
And patience so far. There is a lot of pressure. This is what we saw in that last game, was the pressure on the outside. That box sort of set up spatial defence. Richardson not able to get it where he wanted it to with... And that short pass rule coming into play off the post. Brodie Roberts would probably argue there was room for a defender to get in there.
Great long ball from Nexip. I think that vision over the top of the press is something New South Wales should explore.
And vision into the circle. The lift has occurred. Just saying it's an obstruction though. On that, it evens it back out. 4 goals apiece. And of course, we're coming to you live on the Queensland Suns Facebook page. All the results from this tournament coming to you on Play HQ or the Netball HQ app. Brodie Roberts, little fake and in.
He's warmed really nicely into this game early. I think a lot of that responsibility. Nikolic doing a great job so far on Allen, but Roberts very ready to take up and take the shooting responsibility. And
see Forcadia knows when to put some pace on. He may look like he's cruising a lot of the time, but the speed he was able to put on that little lead before, as Noonan just gets caught on the body on that occasion.
I think Jez Murphy, good combination lineup with Noonan on Forcadia, because you've got a real power player. Noonan certainly is someone who won't back out of the contest, so
well,
looking
we saw
forward
that
to
in the last game where I have heard the knowledge that the umpires did review that footage and said umpire error. And I've been shown a still of it where there's a bit of clean air. Of course, it's not like any of these players to overanalyze any situation despite a win.
But we also wanted to know we were right. We called it.
And of course, Heath and I are rarely wrong. What a beautiful attempt there before next hit. Tapping it out, came flying through. Trying to shift Look, Nikolic just collecting a little bit of arm, perhaps, on that one. Did a beautiful job of getting hands down. Brody Roberts steps it up. Next hip just on the hole, but throws an arm up, draws the obstruction. And they're 1-in-3 in a row here, the VICs. This is when we talk about building leads in matches, especially at this level. If you get a turnover, you want to then score off your next centre pass. Alum does not miss from that range. 3 in a row for the VICs, 7-4. 7 minutes left in this first quarter action. And the injection of Hedricks has come in goal defence. We have seen this a bit, the little bit player that Hedricks has been doing.
I think he had one of his best games against New South in the prelims, so in the semis, sorry. So good move by coach Darren Murphy, and he's been playing them in 7-minute spurts when you look at the tapes, and if it's working, don't change it.
Well, this is the beauty of the rolling subs, is you might as well let people run out really hard for a period of time. And that seamless transition. Stahilski long, almost gets a rebound, falls to Hedricks. And looking over the mess straight away, Byron, but Roberts not afraid to hold it up for a moment. Needs a connection through Cowling this time. And look at these just little, we'll go long and then we'll go short for once. Not able to keep it in, but next hip just a little tap himself. That would have been a great one for the Victorians, but New South Wales a chance to make them pay for that. Next hip, we'll go.
Just releases the pressure there. Alum, it was a really good one-on-one tag from the mids for Victoria.
And just realised he threw his arm in a little bit late. I think he even realised himself and went, oh, hang on a minute. Next hit, maybe wanting it to be advanced. Didn't happen. Patient. Just swinging it around for Kadia.
That's the one.
And that is a good shot there, Anton Stahilski.
So I think when New South Wales create separation of their two shooters, Victoria do a great job at hurting. And as soon as you got 4 big bodies in that circle, good luck getting it past the likes of Hedricks and Josh Byron. And so separation, I think, is scoring them most of their goals early in this game.
And smart players across many of these positions on court. I'm not going to say all the positions. Don't want to give them that credit just yet, but so good, the effort from so many of these players. Cameron Allen, slightly off balance. Everyone seemed to stop for a moment as that was occurring.
He did his usual body contortion on the take. He's incredible at the way he can adjust his body on those takes.
Yeah, should see him try and fold himself into a box as well. Eugene Lee, his mid-range one just rims over. Hedricks just wanting the contact call. It's called advantage. Roberts knows they need to settle for a moment, but still need a connection. Roberts needs to get back on court.
Just the amount of transition passes that Victoria have used in this game, much more patient, as you said earlier in the call, than the semi-final match where there was a lot of wasted ball from
on both sides, really,
dipping the ball
it?
long, yeah. And I think Victoria probably on top here because they are working those extra passes.
And next hip, he started to be reactive to the umpire a little bit here. That's not going to do him well in terms of keeping his focus. We know how deadly he can be. And listen to that sky blue crowd. What is the call? I think it might have been from shots taken from out with that step up. So New South Wales get the turnover. That crowd of the sky blue, their defensive yell, possibly causing a stop. Eugene Lee just wants someone to drive through. But very patient. This is what we saw in the last game. This transition space being taken up all across centre circle transverse line. That's a great outlet though. And the jump, Stahilski just slightly off the shot.
It's that Victoria doing a good job at forcing them high in the circle, tempting them to take that long range shot. Yeah, replay.
Yeah, there might have been a set of hands in that, but there's no way the umpire was going to see it from that space. But also, that needs to be ripped in at that point in time. And that Josh Byron, not someone you expect to normally drop that. 9 goals to 5, under 3 to go. Heath, what are your messages for this last few minutes?
I think if New South Wales obviously need to convert this one, Victoria, we know that when they've got a lead, they're very hard. as the game goes on. They just know how to build. So New South Wales will be wanting to stay in touch.
Even that little bit of pressure there, Brady Roberts, he did get the contact, but it's just doubt in that New South Wales mind. Eugene Lee, classic from him, finding that goal line and opening up. Hedrick's unable to get out of the way in time. And I think we're changing the ball over. There was a request before. This is one thing this tournament the umpires have been very good at, is choosing their moments when to stop the ball, not allowing it to deliberately disrupt play. And similarly with the wiping of the court, because it can be used as a technique.
I think Easter and in these warmer states, we're not used to playing in this kind of heat, and plenty of sweaty bodies out there on court.
Of course, it's not the heat that'll get you, it's the humidity that'll kill you. Stahilski
Said like a health professional, Matty.
falls with that one. Yes, broadcast is definitely not my profession, but glad to be out here. Calling men's open again. Needing someone to drive middle. It comes this time, Noonan. Listen to that crowd. They're saying hands, they're saying clog up space. New South Wales crowd are loud.
Oh, an offside call.
Yeah,
There's a lot of body on there, Matt. I think the umpires.
yeah, it's the body that, how much has it interfered, but why are you hugging the edge of the circle at that point in time?
Oh, next hip. I think you're right. He needs to get set in the game.
And you can see why he's then bodying up. He's a physical player the best of times in his style, but he's starting to get too body on that.
I think it's a way he takes his aggression out on that tight contest, and I think he's at his best when he's a leader who's composed, and it won't take too long for him to cool his jets.
And Brody Roberts, get him fired up, and that can be scary. Although he gets a step on this occasion.
Just that last movement, the umpire saw a carry.
Yeah, trying to get the split the opposite way maybe than he needs to. Miller shifts the body. No one top. They're clogging up space. You expect that. Oh, Byron just slips out of his hands, but it was well read.
So 20 seconds now to get on this scoreboard.
And you expect them to get this one in. They're going to run down the clock a little bit. You expect Stahilski, good take. 10 seconds to go. Does sink it. It is New South Wales centre pass. Deliberately, it's going to be called the time.
2.3 seconds, let's see.
Interestingly, I was unsure whether they were going to call Miller for the deliberate delay because he was quite clearly facing the opposite way. Very smart by him. And what a smart first quarter. It's still a low-scoring match. Victoria 9, New South Wales 8. We'll give you some thoughts and I'll get Heath's expert commentary after these short messages. was a big first quarter that we just had. Thanks to those sponsors for their messages. I've mentioned it a few times, but we wouldn't be here without them. It is Victoria 9, New South Wales 8. Heath, what are your takeaways first quarter?
Look, I think a smart move by moving Kylie into shooter. I thought Victoria had to process a lot of ball to get it to post, and it put a lot of ball through Roberts. So I expect to see some piffing, a very technical term, aka that one, from transverse into him. For New South Wales, the key is ball speed and separation of their shooters, and that's the reason they caught up.
And caught up they have. It's now back on centre pass. 9 apiece. You were across the shooting, which, I mean, you've often considered yourself a top shooter. Hey.
For Tasmania, as an 18-year-old.
Yep.
Ching ching.
What were your takeaways?
Yeah, look, 75% for Victoria out of their two shooters, 73%, so very similar. Look, they'll obviously get those up as the game's gone on with the calibre of these shooters. Just shooting early in a high-pressure situation, I'd say the shooting stats are good, but both coaches will want more.
Both coaches, absolutely. At this level, we know these guys shoot massively. Terrific hands. You can see Al Puncham back on court. Everyone's starting to get in this let's just point in the direction game.
Let's help the umpire out.
It's so many basketballers do it, and we're starting to see it creep into netball. Look, I don't mind it every now and then. Miller trying to shift. Eugene Lee just ended up on traffic. Might have been helped a little bit from body of Byron. Stahilski, the mid-range one. And on the way down, yes. It looked so good, that lift, the timing, but it was a beautiful high shot from Anton Stahilski that resulted in that penalty being called. You can see the umpire look at it for a moment and go, hang on, yes, that was on the way down.
Just so much for these umpires to be looking at.
There is
Joe Miller.
Literally everything going on.
Tell you what, this young fellow from New South Wales, Joe Miller, he has started this game off well. Just processing a lot of ball and leaving Forkadir to his combination against Noonan, which has been relatively equal at this stage.
And we spoke about what matchups were crucial earlier on, and we did say the Jaden Cowley and Joe Miller one will be an interesting one. Probably say that Miller's up just at the moment.
I think all of these mid-quarters, they're at this level with the level of defence they've got to feed through. It's just the hardest job in netball.
Like for every money, that wasn't a bad ball in. It's just that's how good Josh Byron is with the tap down. And the hold there from Lee, I could see it from commentary position, so could the umpire on the sideline. Just getting caught a little bit too much body. And he is so fast, he doesn't need to be caught body. And clear the message as well is low ball in to Kylie take Victor Nikolic out of the game. I want to say Anton, who's down the other end. Liam Kylie sinks another one. Good mid-range.
One thing I've liked about Kylie's game is there's a tall, he's got range shot on him. We've seen him shoot from near the super shot, and then just as easily he can lay the ball up. So that double threat he's got is really something difficult to stop.
Yeah, you could say probably 5-10 years ago we started seeing the tall shooter become more of a thing in the men's netball game, but often that tall shooter was just under a post. No longer the case. We've got some really terrific tall shooters coming through all of the programs for all of the states, and that's not to say these short ones like Eugene Lee just there do not have a role to play, because look at this. As I say that, I've given him a bit of the moz. Just coming out,
Jack Vanderveld, what a punch for that ball.
And the problem with that is Cowling blind to it and just jogging away, but Jake Noonan able to get it back. Cowling needs to treasure possession. But of course, who was the one to steady it again? Brodie Roberts. What a leader he is for this side.
Beautiful ball from Roberts.
Spent many years in the side as a young fella, playing second fiddle goal attack. He really earned his stripes, and now he is part of the reason for the culture of this side. As a replay there in the middle, that is a mistake you don't want to see. Unfortunately, Jaden Cowling slipping between. Byron rips it in.
Great job by Josh. He's just really thwarted the last three important goals for New South Wales.
And one of the things compared to some other games, the feed into Liam Kiley, who's been much better placed. Victor Nikolic, it's not often you can say he's not able to do a lot because he is working very hard, but the arms have been taken out. Next it wants someone. It's Miller and Forcadilla now. And this top of the circle space, not willing to give it, worried about the hands. This means Eugene Lee spent a lot of time out the circle, now comes in, drawing the penalty. Stahilski and threat of the mid-range. It's just enough to put him off a little bit.
I think it's another thing that you've got to be thinking about as a shooter.
And we did see that in the 17 under game, actually. The young fellas do a beautiful lift causing a held ball.
That was almost to win the game as well. It could not have been a better time. I think when Stahilski is caught one-on-one, if it's a cross-circle pass, Byron's able to cleanly push people off the contest in the air because he's straight up and down, big body, powerful in the air. So they'll just look to change that angle.
And change the angle, Liam Kiley does just at the last minute, opening up a beautiful little feed. And you can see the work that both these men's open sides are doing. The gym programs that at this level now are really stepping it up. We're getting so many players that are just that bit stronger. Got the physicality. Al Punchin, a rare thing for him to be caught lost. Eugene Lee waiting for a jump, doesn't want the shot. He's worried about Byron's hands. This time over it again, but the obstruction comes. That's a nice little let off and expect Lee to sink this one. Edges in, wasn't confident.
I think what's been a really good adjustment in Victoria's game is you'll see a lot of ball going into Kiley coming from Brodie Roberts.
Literally as you say.
And they're moving the defenders. So it's not necessarily the first pass or early release. It's a delayed pass once they've committed a defender, and just all class from Brodie Roberts there.
And this is still quite the match. It's 7 minutes gone in the second quarter. Victoria 16, New South Wales 13. And that pressure is building. New South Wales being patient though. Forcadilla waiting for it to open. Byron is caught on the hold on Stahilski.
What I don't think is working for New South Wales, so ball side, this side of the court, Matt, and then you've got Eugene Lee calling for a ball over the top of the circle, which Victoria invites.
These defenders,
yeah.
It's just asking for someone to have a fly. Forcadilla, who's trying to be patient, and he doesn't throw many away, but unable to find a teammate in time. Noonan collecting, tough cross-court ball. And
that's a very physical contest over there.
Yeah, I would almost be thinking, if I was coach Jared Murphy, give Jaden Cowan just a quick break.
He's been running
that centre brilliantly, hasn't he?
Oh, that's a cause there.
Yeah, Byron just couldn't get out of the way in time.
And we've got a change under the post, Matty.
Stephen Bryce has come on. Obviously, this bigger body, a little bit of a change to try and create something that these defenders have to stick to. We have seen this change before. Expect Eugene Lee to find him a bit.
I think Victoria have seen everything that in the attacking circle that can be thrown at them. We've seen obviously 3 or 4 change-ups in the last game, so they'd know to expect a change and certainly expect their defenders to adjust, and an offensive ping there.
And Brodie Roberts, he knows he did it as well. He was backing in. Another couple of changes though. We've seen the big lanky arms of Ronan Pring come on into wing defence. Maybe just keep some of that ball pressure there, and Jake Hendricks doing his impact role once again. New South Wales, other than Stephen Bryce, remain the same. Miller and Lee just on top of each other. I'd like to see a harder clear off from Miller on that one, rather than just come on in a little jog. Bryce, though, will sink this.
I think at times that's where Miller has struggled against the Victorian defence. You've got to punch through it, and if you don't, if you sit on the outsides of it, it sets itself up for that Victorian intercept ball as soon as you throw it across court.
I mean, he's about 20 kilos soaking wet at the best of times. So when you're up against some of these physical bodies, it can be a little bit difficult. That was a great take. Oh, Stephen Bryce, well done. just looking like it was going over the goal line. He manages to balance and keep that in. 3 in a row for New South Wales, bringing it back on centre pass.
You've got to take your hats off to the two debutants at open level. You've played in the reserves division, Kylie up one end, and now you've got Bryce, and soaking up the pressure so far, both of them.
Yeah, Bryce normally doesn't show a lot of emotion on his face. Liam Kylie, the complete opposite, and will show a lot of emotion, gets up and about.
We saw him do a wolf roar in the prelims in the semi-final.
And that Bryce target, unfortunately misses that, but it is causing a little bit of trouble for these Victorian defenders. They can't quite play that same style of defence they were. Hedricks now gets the hold. Someone who also shows a lot of emotion, Jake Hedricks.
You will never not know what is on that man's face, and it's normally give me the ball or get the ball.
The hands, sometimes the face going. I do remember chatting with him about that one time, as going, even if you think you're clean, sometimes you've got to let the emotion go. Next hip, just slightly late on that one. Look at that use of the backside. Victor Nikolic gets up there, and it's still on its way up.
Just Roberts, great timing, knew the ball was going to come out, put himself in a safe position, and he's the reason they convert that one. So the Roberts and Kylie combination is building in this quarter. If they get enough ball supply, this Victorian team looks good.
And whilst Roberts gave a beautiful pass, it must also be said about the timing of when he did it. If Cowling hadn't have made that start of the drive to the pocket, you wouldn't have seen Nikolic go on the hunt, which took him out of the action. And next hip, manages to nudge Kylie out of court a little bit. It was a strong contest. Now the big arms taking up space. Veldeved gets that nice and easy. Give and go. Richardson needs to get some hands again. This will go over.
That's a great take from Forcatia in the middle.
Almost splits his shorts as well as his legs on that one. It's good to see him finding circle edge again, just getting a little bit too much arm.
Tell you what, Hedricks has improved in this Nationals. His tag on the smaller player. He's obviously worked on the fitness because, you know, as the taller player in that shorter combination or shorter matchup for him against Lee, he's certainly running with well.
And still running for another 2.5 minutes. These boys have got in this first half. It's a men's open. It's the gold medal match. Both teams wanting to find their way back onto the winners list.
You can see Lee trying to generate some pace and ball speed.
Cleaned up there, Miller. Byron doing everything he can to get around. That beautiful open from Bryce.
I think it's just a different setup, and it's a simpler setup from Bryce. He T-holds in the middle of the back, and then ball goes up, and because of his size, similar to Kylie up this end, if you get that T-hold and a back space, it's almost impossible to stop both.
Just getting a little bit lost here, but Eugene Lee is doing a lot of work now to help punch through for New South Wales. Cross-court ball, one in middle. Lee has not moved to that spot. That was a nice little brief dodge from Miller. Pring should not have fallen for that one. But he's still applying pressure on the outside. Up to Brycey.
Oh, Pring.
Oh, and we've just had maybe Head collect a little bit of the knee on the way through from there, Hedricks.
Just Bryce.
Just held his position.
Held his
and
position.
the fact that he followed it was really good.
I think he's got a cool head. I think what New South Wales have when he's under the post, like I said, it's a slightly simpler structure. There's more time for them to release into that space. I feel like there's a lot of movement when the other combinations are on, and it's either on or difficult to match.
Oh, Miller trying to find space and stays onside somehow.
This is the one you want Lee to go to post.
He should go to post. That's the Lee we used to know. And the last couple of years, he seems to have just gone off the shot, that mid-range one, both for New South Wales and his time in the Kelpies colours.
This is a shot. Or at least
a good offload, the threat of the shot.
When you line up, you commit a defender. That is what is also critical to that. So good tidy up by the New South Wales attacking line.
Just wanting that connection. Jaden Cowling just running some long lines there. Gets to the top of the circle beautifully. And the push there next hit.
Brody gives him a bit of a stare down.
Brody Roberts will also let him know when this one scores. Straight back to the line. 17 seconds to go. Victoria 20, New South Wales 19. Wanting one more score here. Who is their centre pass, New South Wales. Victoria going to do everything they can to stop it. You don't want any kind of shot or penalty. Byron, 3 seconds to go. Eugene Lee, this one he puts up. That one he sinks.
This is why he needs to go to post, and Matty, we have a game on our hands.
Absolutely we do. That is the type of shot that gets the team up and about going into a break. It is Victoria and New South Wales. There is nothing between them, 20 goals apiece. Let's go to some sponsors so we can have a quick break.
So when I was growing up, obviously loved footy. All my brothers played footy. I've got 5 brothers. They all played sport growing up, and we had a little club called Kelmscott Junior Football Club. Played down there all through my juniors. I got my sense of belonging, I guess, and made my friendships. I just love those memories of playing there. Got me where I am today, so it's it's good to look back on that. Yeah, obviously the Fair Play vouchers is a great initiative. It allows any kids to play sport, gives the opportunity for them to go down to their local club, get that sense of belonging. Obviously there's a lot of kids in different circumstances out there in the community, so this gives the opportunity for any kid to go out and play, which is fantastic.
Let me show you how to get it like me, get it like me, cause the best is what I really might be. Let me show you how to get it. You wanna be like this, you wanna be like this. Want this to last for the rest of our lives. Without you there is no tomorrow.
Men's Open Grand Final here, Men's Mixed Netball Championships for Australia at Nissan Arena. Joining me for some halftime chats once again, Australian Kelpies coach, Nerida Stewart. Ned, what a match once again between Victoria and New South Wales.
I feel like we're back at the beginning of the week and it's the round 1 clash between the two of them. It's fantastic.
Oh, what a battle we've had. We spoke about it in the last game, how low scoring and defensive the games were, sitting at 20 apiece. What have you taken away? You're sitting down sideline, not bird's eye view, sparrow's eye view when they're on the ground eating away. Perhaps.
I'm waiting for one of them to run into me, actually. Look, I think, again, what we're seeing is a really highly defensive contest between both two teams. I think both teams are struggling to sort of move their way and get some depth through the mid. Someone needs to really take on that punch to sort of draw the box press in, to draw them away and open up the space a little bit more. So there's a lot of chop and chip play through the mid-court, so it's slowing things down a little bit. And I think that's probably why we're getting the result of a low score and low opportunities to go to post.
And whilst there hasn't been a lot of opportunities, there have been some pretty solid goaling efforts. Ned, I know you've got the stats there. What have you noticed with the goalers?
Look, we've sort of got even attempts across the board. Liam's sitting at about 90% at the moment, which I would expect that from someone of his stature and the type of game that he plays. So 90% is probably spot on for him. Brodie's volume's a little low, but I would expect that with the type of netball that they're playing with their post at the back. I'd like to see probably Lee lift his percentages up a little bit. I think he's doing a lot of work out front, so if we can get him to post a little bit more and be a little bit more of a threat in the circle, I think that would be great for New South Wales again.
As we see Richardson just almost indicating the umpire how long he was holding it for with some hesitation. He returns to the court, this time in the centre bib. I don't mind a little change there. I thought Jaden Cowling probably needed a little break to sight it a little bit again. What changes would have you thought of making if you were Victorian coach Jared Murphy?
I think moving Riley into the centre is probably a great idea. I think he's got experience up against Liam, so he's going to be able to read his game a little bit more, probably read a little bit more of that shutdown on second phase play. So it'll be good. He's obviously got the speed and the attacking prowess to be able to drive that position. So let's see if he can do a bit of a job on Liam. New South have swapped their centres around too, so it was Joe Miller before. Maybe that might be why they've put Riley in there, but now Lele's swapped.
Yeah, big fan of Liam Forcadilla as a centre. It's been his position more traditionally in the last couple of years, spent a lot more time in wing attack, and did spend a bit of time with me when I was fortunate enough to coach him in the Aussie 23s in wing attack a little bit, even though he still wanted to be a centre then. But geez, he's been good as an Australian Kelpie as a wing attack, hasn't he?
Yeah, look, I think he's a real asset in the mid-court for the Kelpies over the last 2 years, and his growth over the last 18 months in particular has been really, really huge in what he's done. And he took a lot of ownership of that centre bib in our last Trans-Tasman Con Cup sort of test series. So he's put the work in behind the scenes, which I think he's getting the rewards for, which is great. And he's just showing some strength and maturity out there in that position.
And also getting the rewards here in New South Wales. They put a lot of pressure on that ball, recognising that Riley's had the held ball just before it, forcing a high one, resulting in the contact. Brycey goes back. A little off balance, but it works for him.
I think this was a good change that Moira's made, putting Stephen on at this point of the game. I think it's probably slowed the attack end down a little bit for the New South and steadied them a bit. But as I said before, I'd love to see Eugene sort of come in now and be a real threat.
And maybe a threat in the wrong way on that occasion, as he just collects a little bit of Al Punchin's leg.
You know what I love about it though? Usually when there's a bit of a clash, there's a bit of a giggle and a "Are you right, mate?" and a tap on the shoulder. Yeah. They're obviously all really good mates off the court, but
they're played
not when they're on the court.
In some vicious battles, but also in some great teams together. And Al Punchin, someone just gets on with it all the time. And other than realising he'd been collected a little bit, probably wouldn't have even noticed it was Eugene the one that did it.
I think everyone, I was just looking at the VIC attacker, and I think everyone was thankful for the breath.
I'd like to see Riley Richardson just settle on his feet a little bit here rather than that pivot with anxiousness.
Yeah, it would be good if he could just square up a little bit and sight and then deliver. He's sort of throwing it midway through the pivot. Here we go.
Josh Byron, that is a great hunt. But also the pressure that Ronan Pring did there to really try and shut down and cause that lead to be out of it, as Jake Noonan now back in the wing attack position that we saw at the end of the quarter. Starting to try and get an impact. We've got people at the transverse line, but that pressure.
I'm loving this battle between Brodie and Dylan.
They're both such strong competitors, aren't they?
Yeah, they're very passionate about what they're doing, very competitive, and very, very good at what they do in their positions. And I think they're loving the challenge, actually. Nice take from Dill there.
And just frustrated a little bit there, Roberts, with where the feed came. That need to have some eyes on a defender flying from behind. But next hip, now well and truly part of the action, is Miller and Forcadilla on top of each other.
Oh, beautiful cut to the pocket from Liam.
And that's that burst of speed he can do off those few steps. Really long with those legs.
He's got this fantastic ability to be able to take on drive with speed, but then just quickly anchor and pop back into the space.
He manages to look so casual so much of the time. He's definitely not in the way he approaches it. But it is that burst of speed that seems to just look like it's part of the same casual action that I think deceives so many people.
I think the thing with the men's game too is that they're so fast that the decel part of their game can be a struggle at times, but Liam doesn't seem to have an issue with that. He's able to really shift, which now enables him to evade his defence around that circle edge.
And unable to evade each other here, New South Wales and Victoria. It's still on centre pass. Somehow stays in the hand of Miller, just kind of glided between. Lee wants a little short one, holds it a long time, has support back at the line, a little jump pass, Van der Velde.
There it is, look at that. Great
Byron
speed into
thought about
pocket.
it for a moment, wasn't able to get there, and selling it beautifully, Byron. There probably was a nudge there, and just letting umpire James Matthews know, someone who has played in opens for both of these sides. Oh, does well at keeping it in, but Brodie Roberts fully aware of where the ball is, because it was about to fall in the sky blue hands once again.
I'm really impressed with the discipline from both ends. We've got two very tall posting shooters that play a strong holding game, but we're not seeing a lot of whistle with the defences, so they're really clean in their contest and their cover and their work around the body, which enables players like Byron to be able to do that work and then come off and have a fly when the moment's there.
I think it says a lot about both the quality of the players we have out there and the umpires who are doing a terrific job of officiating what is a very tough match to keep eyes across. There is so much always going on. Wanting someone to open, Keeley.
Oh, he was there. They missed it.
Kylie almost. Little 1-2, don't mind that off the circle.
Nice pop.
And Roberts just trying to keep Nexip a bit more distracted there on that occasion.
And I think Brodie's very good at that. He knows his role. He knows that if his role is to keep a player out of play so there's not a 2-on-1 contest on his shooter, then he's prepared to do that.
Ronan Pring, that is great arms. Something he's got much better at this year than even last year is one, the takes that he's getting, but also his moments of when to jump versus just sticking an arm out and moving his feet with it.
I think Ronan's decision-making on his contest has improved a lot, so he's not just running through things just for the sake of it. He's really timing, reading the game well, you know, working between that dictate and deny on his wing attack and then seeing ball coming deep and being able to have a fly at it. So, yeah, he's got the most beautiful reach for a wing defence too.
He's got a phenomenal tank on him as well, doing the yo-yo test earlier in the program. I think he might have finished top of it for Victoria, and we've got some strong athletes in there. And partly he decided to stop when he did because he couldn't be bothered going on any longer because everyone else had finished.
Maybe you shouldn't be telling me that.
But the fact he gets a massive score on it and can keep going, incredible.
Yeah, look,
he just wants to be challenged.
He came in as an invitee to Kelpie's camp last year and did a formidable job when he was there. Didn't look out of place whatsoever. He's a real goer, yeah.
And speaking of people I think you might be inviting to Australian camp without making a presumption, Liam Kiley, he's been very good in that goal shooter position. Injury time called by New South Wales. They're wanting a break, and I imagine the next hip is going into wing defence, and look at, this will be body on body with Noonan. Van der Velde now in the centre bib, and Forcadia in wing attack. But Victoria running that change that we've expected. Once again, without hesitation, Hendricks for his impact at goal defence.
They're rotating them really regularly, aren't they? I think this is going to be an interesting shift for New South. I know that Blundell came on last night in the WA game and really made an impact when he came out there. So, and obviously Dill's slipping back into that wing defence position, which is his Aussie position. Be nice to see if he can shut some play down there.
Yeah, let's hope he's able to play quite a smart game there, that he has been on plenty of occasions. It will be interesting to see how Blundell and Roberts match up on each other. Just the timing that's going to be needed, and maybe the right sink. High shot.
I think it's going to be Brodie's speed that's going to really test Martin out.
And just getting caught on the body is wing defence Ronan Pring. Hedricks thought it was him for a minute. And we did speak about it a little bit in the break, that if Bryce can keep the strong hands, he's so valuable there. That one just slipped through.
Look, I think that one was a bit of a combo of a feed that came straight from the hip and had a little bit of a straight trajectory rather than a place into the space. But again, you know, at this level, you would expect your shooters to get up there and try and rip it in as strongly as possible.
Even from distance. And Hedricks goes for the attempt. This is where I do definitely miss the out-of-court whistle. If you're a player going flying at the ball, gives you a chance to go, hang on, I don't need to attempt that one. Ronan Pring, there's hands everywhere. I mean, umpire James Matthews had the best side of it. I don't even know how he was able to pick anyone there. My reaction time's certainly not fast enough.
Look, I feel like Vics have put the Jets on a little bit here, and I think maybe the change, New South Wales have just delayed a little bit in settling into their game with that change that they just made. But then, you know, I think that the Vics have had an opportunity to run their full 12 at this competition, and they've had probably a little bit more rest than the New South boys, and I think at some point that's going to feed into their ability to, you know, repeat effort in attack and defence for the New South boys.
And a good lesson in tournament coaching as well. There, when you've got the 12 players, you want to be able to use them all at different times so you can use them in a crucial game like this.
I think it's been interesting this year watching the Opens competition because it's so tightly contested amongst all of those top teams, and you know, when you're in a tight contest, if you don't have depth or you've got a 7 that you really want to stick to, it's hard to make rotations. So maybe that's challenged some of the other teams just a little bit, whereas Vics have got a very strong 12 in their lineup.
And New South Wales still have some decent players on the bench. You got the likes of young Nathan Germack ready to come on. Didn't have the best game when he did last time, but wouldn't expect 2 in a row of that from him. Nikolic wanting an option. Next hit, little underhand pass there, just backing in and sucked in a little bit there, Noonan on it. Probably need to work around.
It'll be interesting to see the type of play that New South fall into. Last night, the back end of their game against Western Australia, they sort of moved into a real chip game rather than the give and go style of game that's traditionally their strength.
And talk about crowd involvement in matches. When New South do something great, they're up and about, but when Victoria do something about, they're up and about as well.
The atmosphere in this arena today has been brilliant.
Oh, it has been incredible. I may have been questioning a sunken court earlier in the week, but tell you what, it's creating quite the crowd moment for us, even at the top here. Blundell, almost hands on it. Kylie
did a great job. Yeah, twinkle toes on the baseline. They're big feet too.
Oh, huge feet. How there is room in that circle as Tom Hardwick is on into goal attack, giving Brodie Roberts just a quick respite and maybe a chance just to try and run something different and take some attention away. Let's see how hard Hardwick goes.
Tom's got that good use of speed too, and he's fresh, so he's going to really challenge Blundell and Victor in the circle, I think. He's got a good long-range shot too, so...
He has always had such a good long-range shot, and would you believe he came through a development side of the Victorians, and unfortunately that was during the COVID era, but then got his 23 and under gig, and now obviously the last couple of years in the men's open.
Beautiful ball over.
Vandervelde and Forcadia, patient whilst having good ball speed.
Got to reward that though with a shot. Got to finish.
And Byron just giving himself that little bit extra, knowing the penalties coming in. Such a smart defender. And I really would have expected the New South Wales crowd to reward that a little bit more. At this point in time, you're not out of the match.
At this level, definitely not. No. Like, what do we got? It's 8.
It's not much at all in
4 turnovers.
Men's Open. As we see, a turnover. There's been a little bit of miscommunication between Richardson and Noonan every now and then, but they will clean that up. New South Wales, though, Hedricks has a fly in a hunt, taken quickly. Vandervelde, not enough on that from Lee. Really fed it into Byron.
Had beautiful position, enough room to be able to give himself a little bit of a stepping up to contest, and he's obviously beautiful in the air with his elevation and strength.
maybe Lee was remembering some of their junior days when Josh Byron was a junior athlete with the New South Wales program, trying for the feed of him in goals that he used to play. But my God, I love watching him in defence.
Oh, look, last year I think he was switching between attack and defence, whereas this year having him just purely in that defensive role.
It's helped his game settle a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Whilst we've known he's a very good defender, just being able to have that focus.
Agreed. I think at this level to be able to just focus in on one area of the court allows them to put out their best netball. They've really tried that lift quite a bit today, haven't they?
It just puts some doubt in the mind, and it does put doubt in the mind. It was a fantastic feed from Forcadia. It's something that's a trademark of his, that long ball in, but beautifully finds it. Unfortunately not finished. The lift able to provide enough doubt. Cowling, he's got to ride these waves a little bit. And the players just indicating the ball's a bit slippery. The umpire says, no, we're not taking a break just yet. They'll do it after a shot. Nikolic up there, well done. But it was also the pressure from Blundell. Noonan just cops a little one in the mouth. Forcadia patient once again. That left arm swing. Oh, look at that.
Right in frame.
And that's where a defender with good elevation can use it wisely, where they just go cleanly above the player and use that hand to their advantage. As next hip and Cowling have a quick seat and not on the bench. Nikolic rips that in.
They really need to reward this here.
There's a few players just hitting the ground. I think it's not just slippery ball, but it's slippery court. 30 seconds to go. They're so determined, both these sides. Chance to bring it back to that 8 as it's Stahilski now in the goal attack bib. And of course, under these new rules, if you look like you're any form of too close at this crucial time, you're just giving away a penalty.
Discipline, they've got to stay in place. So discipline is really, really important, particularly in a grand final.
There is time to score, but New South Wales will be doing everything they can. Patient though.
Good footwork from Victor.
Wait for it open. Yes, it was the hole, just resetting the penalty. Tom Hardwick needs to sink this one.
Oh, don't we hate that as shooters?
And this is the part of Tom Hardwick's game that has been coming in a little bit. This that crucial moment one at the end, needs to sink it. But what a big first quarter. Ned, I hope you're going to stick around for a little bit longer. She's giving me a little look of she's nervous. But we will throw to a break. It's Victoria 33, New South Wales 25. The AMMNA Championships, we're back. Grand final action, men's open. Nerida Stewart, we thank her for her time and insight in the last quarter. Australian Kelpie's coach. She's decided she needs a break. I think her heart is pumping out of her chest watching this game. Hez Brown, welcome back. What a third quarter there. Victoria managed to push it out. What are your takeaways so far and what are you expecting this quarter?
Yeah, look, it was nice to sit back and watch. Kylie, for me, stepped up in that quarter now, 17 from 18, highest volume on court by a long way. And, yeah, really kind of started to own that goal circle. It'll be interesting to see if New South Wales can assail this lead early. 8 goals is very difficult to pull back on a Victorian team, but as we know, stranger things have happened.
8 goals is difficult indeed, but it's not out of the cards by any means. The old magical 40, might have just turned to being on its way down there. Thought it looked pretty good, but the arc can be difficult to tell. New South Wales, a good start by them. Stephen Bryce and Anton Stahilski now the goal circle again. They've gone the Twin Towers. Jaden Cowling, Twin Towering a little bit more. Brody Roberts just getting up and about going, let's go, we've got this.
He's certainly been vocal to his instruction to his teammates a few times this game. He has such high standards of himself, so you can't certainly accuse him of having double standards with his own work rate.
And his passion, and this is part of his leadership, is they're respecting his response as well. It certainly comes from the right place, and these teams want it. Jaden Cowling, big arms, big hands, just fine. Stahilski though, mid-range 6 at 2 in a row. New South Wales centre pass. Listen to their crowd, they've come back into it. Ronan Pring just sitting off a lot at the moment. This should be 3. Bryce, goes in, almost looks short.
I think that the key to just momentum, like take some risks in this last quarter. Everything to play for both teams, but if you can start to chip into what was an 8-goal lead, now down to 5.
Kylie.
Beautiful. He fist bumps.
Fired up as well. He knows that's a huge moment. That was a tough pass. I wouldn't have said it was the best pass from Richardson, but Kylie makes something of it. They need to keep punching through, the Victorians, but New South Wales have got something to say about it. Patient once again for Kadia. Stahilski still doing a lot of work outside. Curious little pivot step. Sees the ball in. Kadia not quite where Bryce wanted to rip it in. Pring just grinding on the outside, gets caught with the knee.
He's certainly a niggly defender, which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, being a very niggly defender yourself, whether it was in the circle or even out at that wing defence.
I think one thing he did in the last quarter, Pring, I thought around the circle, that ball above the head that went cross circle, he was dangerous on a few. You can pick off lots of ball in the air.
And you can really see this intensity has lifted from New South Wales. They are being more body on body, they're being more physical. At the moment, Victoria need to lift what they are doing defensively. All of a sudden, that 8-goal lead is back to 5. Will it be 4? 11 and a half to go, final quarter. This game is well and truly in the balance. Stephen Bryce, little mid-range, off balance. It falls to the Victorians. Cowling wants someone. Vanderveld goes for the hunt, but the wrong way. Richardson's got to connect strong and get off the body.
This game has stepped up a pace, has it? The crowd's lifted. This next one, a critical score for Victoria.
Critical it is, and Victor Nikolic says, I'm going to make sure this is tough. Angles though, Jaden Cowling at the top, drawing the penalty. Nikolic, he's just grinding on the body as much as he can. Next hip trying to help out. Quick 1-2, just almost slips. And waiting, Brody Roberts.
I've liked that, other than the short break for Roberts. Really like the combination of Kylie and Brody. I think they've built as the game's gone on. And
there's quite the smear on the ground. I don't know if the players can necessarily see it. Roberts is searching. I can actually see a beautiful angle of it from up here, with all the scuff marks from the various sports that get played on this court. You can see Obviously, the Brisbane Bullets use this court as well, Nissan Arena. Mandeville with his trademark little jump and one-hander. Miller will want one too. Pring probably given a bit too much room this quarter. Wasn't the last one. Byron.
Oh, Byron. No, yeah, he had that.
On the inside arm, perhaps. I couldn't quite see whether it was the top one. The umpire had brilliant view, though. And New South Wales love it. 2 jumps from probably both inside. Given that Bryce can miss that first shot, you've got to be careful on a second attempt. New South Wales are leading this quarter. They've got to do a little bit more to continue to get it back. Is that too much? No, Kylie rips it in. Sinks it.
Hasn't he been steady for someone in his first Open Men's Grand Final? He's been super impressive.
And the intensity of the Reserves Grand Final was big last year. Certainly nothing like this men's Open Division. Fries it around, was meant for Bryce, so is this one. Byron can't get up. Oh, turns. Almost should have got it straight back. Letting the Victorians get the... Punchin needs to get back in. There's got to be some awareness here from both attackers. Especially with this new rule. Take it whilst the defender's running away still. Stahilski off balance to the left. Rims out. Thought that might have almost come off Byron. You can see Victoria just goes to settle. Cowling trying to punch through the middle. New South Wales are trying to get up and about. Their crowd is loud. Wanting a turnover. Looking over the mess, punching. Once again, this is Brodie Roberts knowing how to use up some time. So patient. He's clearly got this control back that he needs to, and you can see him deliberately keeping next hip occupied away from Kylie, trying to make that connection at the right time. And now he looks to connect. Wanting the swing, it's going to pop over.
Beautiful
we knew
ball.
That's coming. Defender's not quite.
This is what he's done well since the first quarter, I think. Whenever he gets the ball in his hands, I think the defenders are ultra aware of his creativity, but in that case, just a simple little pop over the top.
And an unexpected change, I don't think, in Eugene Lee returning the goal attack bib. They need a little bit more punch in that attack line. And against Punchin, he is Roberts and Richardson, a combination we've known for a long time. Just with the fend off, he knew it as well. Kylie just trying to keep Nikolic off. That's a moment they don't want, but it is out to 7.5 minutes to go. Heath, a big last 7.5.
Yeah, look, the game's set for a huge ending. One thing we know about these two teams is there will not be a second of this game not played out to this level of intensity, and we've seen it already in this game and other games. This is only 3 turnovers for New South Wales, and this game is back on level pegging.
And just the offside or the contact, call it offside by the looks of it. It was a great little squeeze there, Richardson and Roberts. Vanderveld did his best to keep it in. Lee off foot briefly, couldn't find Miller. We'll find Bryce here. No, Miller again. Eugene Lee, put that shot up, son. We know he can sink that. We have faith. But for some reason, he is not going to post.
It's that time that it takes off the clock as well, and the fatigue for the feeders. So they just need that scoring speed as well.
And that was a great ball in, but as you said, it took a little bit of time to get there. Eugene Lee separated out the defence well. Long ball
Beautiful
in, lovely
ball.
ball in. Of all of the jumps, that one I think was on the way up still.
We might watch that one back on the stills.
Yeah, we love a still frame.
I think the umpires have done an incredible job. I
really
heard
have.
you and Ned on the
If
call.
that's what we're doing to try and make any kind of judgment on with the ball still on its way up or down, I think that says a lot about how well this game's umpired.
I think one of the things that we use as a temperature check on the umpires is you don't really notice them. You're enjoying a great game of netball. There's athletes against athletes. The contest allowed to go cleanly. So hats off to our folks in white as this game is back out to 6.
Yeah, 6 is just that target that New South Wales are trying to get back down. 5 minutes 45. Ball speed and shot speed New South Wales need a little bit of. It is being clogged up at the moment wide. Lee almost playing a wing attack role. Communication almost lost there, Hedricks, but this is what we've seen. Hedricks come punching on. And Cowley knowing that if he didn't release quickly, that wasn't going to go off, but they are going off. The crowd for Victoria. Kylie, so crucial there. Richardson just doing the look around. Roberts happy to sit outside and let the work happen for a moment. Let the 1-2, patient. Now he comes around, wants the 1-on-1. That was well done, Nikolic, unable to get it past. He gets a tap. Doesn't get pulled in though. Brodie Roberts will flick this over. No, yes. People asking for a push-off. I don't know that it was there.
I think it was two bodies going up for that contest, I think.
And isn't Nikolic playing well at contesting? Well, we've said how well Kylie is generally doing. That's a great contest and a great example of in men's open, you can do everything right and still not end up with the ball.
So critical score now. I think it's, within the 4.5-minute mark. This is where New South Wales need to score quickly.
Quickly.
I think that pressure of Victoria. They're definitely crowding on the tall shooter in a split circle.
No eyes. Miller able to rip it in. Yeah, the vision seems to be narrowing a little bit as this pressure is building. And you've got some players here who normally have terrific vision. Beautiful little ground tap. Eugene Lee just unable to rip down that low ball.
The accumulative pressure when you're passing 20 balls in attack and not even getting a shooting option, that's what happens. Eventually, the Victorian pressure prevails, and coast to coast they go and score in a matter of seconds. Now out to 9, Matt. Fair to say.
This is going to be very difficult now. I think they can get it back maybe 5 or 6. 10 is the current. You say about cumulative pressure, and we're both coach sides where you tell them, every time you get 1, 2 more passes, 3 more passes in from a side, there's just one more chance for a turnover to occur.
I think that was just rubbing salt into the wounds there, because New South Wales just struggling to find post, and Roberts on the first phase ball pings.
And post is now Stahilski back on. The familiar combination of Lee and him. But they're just not getting the quick ball movement that we know some of these players are capable of. Forcadia trying everything he can. Richardson just offside or no contact it is. Forcadia. Miller and him seem to have lost a little bit of connection. The ones they normally give top of the circle. And just slightly late on that one, Pring. And slightly short is Hedricks. Eugene Lee will sink this.
Oh.
Listen to that crowd. Yeah, that crowd's not because of this goal. That crowd's Riley Richardson going to the bench and Adam Franz being bibbed up to come on for Victoria.
I think they're going to enjoy this last 2 minutes. It's like you mentioned earlier, bar the 2 COVID years where we didn't have competition, they went missing with the gold medals, and it's very rare for the most successful state in men's netball to do that. And I think they've set the tone for what could be another run of years for this Victorian Open side, because
they are building something. New South Wales did it a couple of years ago where they brought in youth and spent the years focusing on getting them together. Stahilski mid-range. We want that shot in. Jaden Cowley needs to get the swaps to get Adam Franz on. Goes in, he runs now, Stahilski, the long ball. Listen to that cheer.
It is gold medal alley over there.
There are so many gold medals amongst the sides over there, and they are up and about. They know what this result is about to be. This means a lot to this Victorian squad. And I say squad as well because it really is, in these last couple of years, become such a Victorian squad. New South Wales keep fighting though, Heath, don't they?
Look, they've done well today to stay in touch with, as Kylie goes off there, to stay in touch with what is probably one of the best open men's team in this Victoria unit we've seen for several years. And just not enough firepower for New South Wales to match it with them today.
And here's a chance for maybe a couple more goals either direction. But got to keep fighting. The pressure is still there from New South Wales. Next hip high. Roberts, he's on the fly. He knows what's happening now.
I want a bomb.
Mid-range.
There he goes. I want a fist pump, but he laughs instead.
He is so happy there.
If that's the way this game finishes, it will be a highlight yet again. But New South Wales still an opportunity.
And it was almost pulled in. Byron Stahilski did well. Lee not wanting the shot. This one he does. Byron and Hedricks not even contesting that last ball. I'm losing my voice. Heath Brown, what a match.
That was a sensational match, and justifiably the winners, Victoria. They've deserved it all week. Coming in today, the red-hot favourites, and boy did they play near faultless netball, particularly in those last three quarters.
And make no mistake, that New South Wales Sky Blue team, they were fantastic. It was 9 goals, 8 at quarter time, 20 apiece at halftime, 33-25 at three-quarter time. That little push out, New South Wales came back in the fourth quarter. Victoria, too good in the end. Heath, I know we're not calling for the best on player, but who was the standout for you? And that is a difficult call. I didn't give you any warning.
I did, yeah. One. Look, I always know you're going to ask me, but look, I thought Liam Kiley came on in the match and changed it, and it was the opposite earlier on in the rounds where I thought Alum came on and changed against New South Wales. So I always like people who rise to the occasion, and for me, for him to come on here in a debut year and soak that pressure up, I would give it to him, but there are probably about 11 other players who you could pick as well. Yeah, yourself?
Look, I'm struggling to work out who I would pick. There were so many moments that were terrific. Jared Murphy, head coach.
Thanks his crowd.
Genuine head coach. He's been across all of these benches across the thing. He's really passionate about each of these sides. I have completely lost my words, my emotion. This has been a long time coming for Victoria.
This is all your work, Matty?
Oh.
Now you're in retirement from your official years. I know you're still working on Victoria Committee, but like, as someone who's been in the Victorian system as a player and now worked in 3 states, when you're part of this Victorian program, whether you're an administrator, an umpire, a player or a coach, you just have this standard expected of you because of the success this organisation has had, and it just doesn't get old when you win these premierships and you see the Victorian style of netball in full flight today. So congratulations to you and your administrators for continuing to set the benchmark, and the boys for carrying it out on court today.
And we're both part of the start of a Victorian dynasty that occurred that's been missing, with New South Wales similarly built a dynasty for a while, and these two sides have had quite the battles. I am absolutely done. I'm spent. Victoria, New South Wales, that was a grand final fitting of the men's open division. I need to let us go.
You need to go celebrate.
We need to go celebrate. Thank you to the team that's been doing all the broadcasts throughout the live stream. They've been here all day on the cameras, on the computers. We thank them. Thank you, Queensland Suns, for the tournament. There's an AMMNA Awards night tonight where all the teams will be celebrated and All-Star 7s will come, and look forward to that on the social media. But until next year, I've been Matt Blomley, alongside me Heath Brown. Good evening.
Good evening.